Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another list building video for the Soviet mid-war book Enemy at the Gates. So they do have two mid-war books, Enemy at the Gates and Red Banner, but Red Banner is more of a late mid-war book, but we'll be focusing on this one today. So not a lot of formations in the book. I think there's only 5 off the top of my head. There's a fair few build formation command cards, but what we'll do is what we don't cover in the formations, we'll have a look at what units you could have had at the end and some of the support units. Since this is the first of the Soviet books in chronological order, and then obviously any newer equipment we will focus on in later videos. Okay, so the first formation is a mixed tank battalion. So most importantly, hasn't got a HQ, but it has a mixture of tanks, infantry, and some mortars. You'll notice that it's called a battalion and not a company, and the platoons are called companies rather than platoons, but you'll get used to that with the Soviets in the end. But I've gone for 4 KV-1s. We can have KV-1Ss instead, and we'll look at their stats later on. A unit of 10 T-34 early, so that's my reserve unit. Can have Valentines instead, and then some T-60s, and you can also have Valentines or Stuarts. I've gone for a hero SMG company with 7 teams, a commissar, and an extra flamethrower. You can have a regular SMG company if you wanted to, and 6 82mm mortars. And then supporting them, we've got some spearhead in the form of the BA-10 scout car, and another infantry company in the form of a hero rifle company. And they've got an extra heavy machine gun, or they've got an extra machine gun. Okay, so the KV-1, a nice heavy tank. Now the Soviets are reckless. A lot of them are reckless, so you're most likely going to get hit, but this armor should help. They're confident with a brilliant counterattack and last stand. They're only 5+ skill, but they do have a 4+ assault because of the rear MG. Not particularly fast, but a good cross check. The gun is okay with a good firepower, but it is overworked, which means +1 harder to hit enemy units. Okay, so we have the T-60, or as I like to call them, the Death Dodgems. They're reckless, confident with a 3+ last stand, but flat green skill on a 5+. Armor is not much there, so 2, 1, and a 1. They're a little bit faster than the KV-1s, but not got a brilliant cross check. Gun isn't much to sing about either, being very short range, only good against other scout units or digging out infantry, but the problem it hasn't got HE, so not that good at going against infantry, and has a 5+ firepower. So next is the T-34 early tank battalion. So as you can see, plenty of T-34s. So we do get a HQ this time, but only 1 tank. We then have our unit of 10. So that's our reserve unit. A unit of 7 T-34s. Again, we could have had Valentines instead. Another T-60 unit, and again could have had Valentines for them. 6 82mm mortars and a hero SMG company with a flamethrower. Again, we could have had a regular SMG company and 3 BA-10 armoured cars for spearhead. Okay, so the T-34 early, other than its recklessness and its skill level, I think it's a great tank for mid-war. It is confident with a 3+ last stand, so that's not too bad. Its armour is very good, front 6, side 5, and it's fast is what you want it for, and there's a decent cross check on the 3+. The later T-34s have a 2+ cross check, and I think their cross country is slightly faster, but I can't remember which way around. The gun isn't too bad either. The range ain't brilliant, being 24 inches. Anti-tank 9 and a 3+ firepower is good, but it is overworked, unfortunately. Okay, so the hero SMG company, which we saw in 2 formations previous, they are aggressive, so they hit on a 3+. They're reluctant, but if they still have their commissar alive, their motivation is a 4+ instead, so make sure your commissar doesn't get killed. They are green on a 5+, but they have a 3+ assault, so not too bad at all. Movement-wise is what you'd expect from infantry, but as you would guess, they have SMGs, so the range is only 4 inches, but they have 3 shots, halted or moving, but if they're pinned, rate of fire 1. One thing I have been equipping them with though is flamethrowers. So 4 shots, halted or moving, with an auto firepower. And remember, if you hit an enemy infantry unit or gun team with this, they're automatically pinned. So then you can try and risk getting into an assault with your aggressive infantry. Okay, so next up we have an M3 Lee tank battalion. I like this because you can upgrade your Lees to long barrels, giving them about 1 point more of AT. We have one long Lee for the HQ. We then unit of 9 with 4 of them upgraded to long, which bang on 40 points is nice for reserve. We then have another unit of 7 with 3 long barrels. We could have Stuarts instead of them, but I've decided to have the 3rd slot as Stuarts instead, so I have 5 of them. Again, we have our 82mm mortars and our hero SMGs. Of course, can be regular SMGs if you wanted to, and our scout cars for spearhead. Okay, so the Lee, the M3 Lee, I think is a good tank. So it is reckless, as we've noticed so far. It is confident with a 3+ last stand and a green skill level. Slower than the T-34 with a worse cross check, but if it's a short barrel gun, it's a 24-inch range with 89 and a 3+ firepower. It's forward firing, however, but upgraded it's 80-10 with a 28-inch range. They also have a secondary weapon, which is the 37mm. Can fire this at the same time, but is +1 harder to hit. But it enables you to have 1 extra shot. But it's only 87 with 4+ firepower, but you'll be surprised how many times that lands home and gets you a kill. Okay, so then we have the M3 Stuart. So it is reckless again, confident with a 3+ last stand and a green skill level. Front 3, side 2, so a lot of things are going to go straight through it. Slightly faster than the Lee, same cross check, however, but of course it only has the 37mm gun, and it is overworked as well, so +1 harder to hit. But you'll have a fair few of them, and your opponent can't ignore them because it can do damage to flank shots on Panthers and Panthers if they're knocking around. Okay, next up we have a rifle battalion. So these companies are massive, very massive. So the HQ is 2 rifle teams. We then have a company of 28 teams and a commissar with an extra heavy machine gun and flamethrower. Second company is 19 teams with a commissar and an extra heavy machine gun and flamethrower, and they also have 2 units of mortars, so 3 of each. 1 normal and then 1 heavy mortars. We have some scout cars to help them out, and a unit of 9 Lees with 4 up-armoured, up-gunned, so they're 40 points. And this formation as well is upgraded to a naval battalion, and we have enough points for the lucky card as well. So there's obviously a lot more you can add to this formation. SMG companies, penal companies, heavy machine gun companies, anti-tank companies, but we'll have a look at them at the end. Okay, so the rifle company, they are aggressive. They're confident with a 3+ confidence if their commissar is still alive. They are green, but with a 4+ assault. Now they only have 1 shot halted or moving, so that might let you down a bit. But they can have a heavy machine gun, petard anti-tank rifle team, which is not great. They can have a mortar, but the best thing to give them really is the flamethrower. They do have a special rule, however, called Hoorah. So basically, when you're charging into contact, you have 6 inches to move instead of 4. So with these massive teams, that does help. Okay, so as you notice, I upgraded them to a naval battalion for 4 points. So I basically change they're confident, which they already were, but the main thing it changes is their rally. So it's a 3+ now rather than a 4, and if their commissar is alive, it's a 2+. The other command cards available, you have the Smirch command cards. So basically, rifle or SMG companies have the following rating, so they're confident, but the commissar gives them a 2+. Hero rifle or hero SMG companies, they are reluctant with a 3+ if the commissar is alive, and that's 3 points. And then you have a militia battalion. So it restricts what you can take. So it's basically rifle companies and SMGs, scouts and snipers, but it's -6 points, and it basically makes them reluctant, but with 4+ if the commissar is alive. Okay, so last formation, we have the Hero Rifle Battalion. So it's slightly smaller unit, but that's because these guys have been fighting a bit longer, so there's less of them. But we have managed to have 3 units of infantry. The storm group we will look at the end. So we have 2 rifle teams for the HQ. We have 2 platoons or companies of hero rifles, 1 unit of 10, 1 unit of 7. First unit has a heavy machine gun and a flamethrower. The other one has just the flamethrower. And then we have a storm group of 7 SMG teams, 2 heavy machine guns, a petard team, and a mortar. And I've also given them a flamethrower as well. And again, our 2 units of mortars, 1 light, 1 heavy, a unit of Lees, and a unit of scout cars, and I have an extra few points for some Stuarts, so I checked them in as well. And should have a hero naval battalion, but it's the same points anyway, and we'll have a look at that command card as well. Okay, so the hero guys, they're aggressive, reluctant with a 4+ if the commissar's alive. They're green with a 4+ assault. I forgot to mention, with the rifle company, the previous one, the infantry save is a 4+, which ain't great. But these guys is 3+, and that's why they cost that little bit more. And again, it's the kit loadout is the same, but they don't have Ura. And they are upgraded to Hero Naval Battalion, so for 4 points, basically you get that 4+ rally, or 3+ if the commissar's alive. So keeping your advance going, that rally is vital. So that is it for the formations in the book. So we'll have a look at the formation build cards, and then we'll have a look at the support units and other units that we didn't use in the formations that you might like to have a look at. Okay, so the first 2 ones are basically your Cossacks. So basically, these command cards will basically give these horses. So it's up to you whether you want these. So I know a lot of you playing the game for a while probably have the models, and this is how you theme your army. So they've got them here for you. So if they haven't missed it, they are in the command cards. So you can have 2 flavors. You can have your regular ones or the hero ones. So it just uses the stats that are already in the book. So you have your limitations basically imposed on you on these cards, and then you can obviously then make them Cossacks by giving them the cavalry command cards. Okay, so we have 2 other infantry formations. So we have an NKVD battalion. So basically with this one, you have a little bit of limitation on what you can take in the formation. But basically, if the commissar team is in the formation is destroyed, remove another team from the unit and replace it with a commissar instead. So basically, for 3 points, you're kind of saving your commissar, which is kind of good. I don't know, 3 points is steep to keep him alive, but it's up to you. And also, again, if you have the models painted out like NKVD troops, there you go. And then we have a scout company. So basically, it's just your scout platoons with scout cars in formation. But yeah, that's an option for you too. Okay, so featured in pretty much every list, I absolutely hate the BA-10 armored car. Because all it has is spearhead, but it hasn't got a scout, so that's not great. It's aggressive. It is confident though with a 3+ last stand. Obviously, you're not going to be doing much assaulting with it because it won't stay there. And it's a 4+ skill and a 6 in assault. Armor wise, not much to speak of. Movement wise, not much to speak of. And bloody hell, just stay away from terrain because you're not going over it. And then the gun isn't too bad, better than the T60s. But it is overworked and a 4+ firepower, and it has a bit of MGs. But overall, not the best scout car I've seen in the game. Okay, so instead of KV1s, you can take KV1Ss. So basically, armor is slightly lower, but they are faster, and the gun isn't overworked. So it's up to you whether you want a slightly less armored tank. Front armor 7 isn't too much to be sniffed at in mid-war. That's slightly quicker, The cross-check is better as well, but yes, it's up to you. And points-wise, it's the same, so it's entirely what you want in your list. Okay, so the Valentines. So we sent a bunch of these over to them. So these are like plodding along with their armies, trying to help them out. So as you'd expect, reckless, confident with a 3+ last stand, with a 5+ skill. Now it's a British armoured box, so it's front 6, side 6, so decent enough. It is slow, however, with a 3+ cross check. Its gun isn't brilliant, it's only 87 with a 4+ firepower. It also doesn't have HE and is overworked as well. And it only has 3 MGs each. But you can, well, I don't know why I'm looking at the back of the card because all these points have changed now. But I don't know how, off the top of my head how many you can get for 10, but it's not that many points. But there you go, your Valentines. Okay, so the SMG company was an option in pretty much all the tank formations and the rifle company. So obviously they're much bigger than the hero ones. You can have units of 22 or 15 and can add up to 2 flamethrowers. They are aggressive, confident with a 3+ if the commissar is still alive. Green skill level, but with a 3+ assault. But as you'd guess, they're 4+ save, but they do have Ura. Okay, so an option for the rifle company, we have the penal company. So these are the guys who've been dragged out of prison, been told to fight, forced to fight. So they are aggressive, they're fearless, 3+ motivation, 2+ if the commissar is there. They do have Ura and they have redemption, which we'll have a look at. Skill level is green, but a 4+ assault, but they have punishment tactics on a 6, so digging in and stuff, not really going to happen. And I thought they had SMGs, but they only had rifle teams, so 1 shot each, and they are slow firing, and they only have a 4+ infantry save. But redemption. So unit can move before the game using the spearhead rules, but does not extend your deployment area. So these guys are just being pushed to the front. Unit cannot be held in reserve. Unit never benefits from bulletproof cover. Unit can prevent the enemy from holding an objective, but cannot hold an objective, and never counts as destroyed for victory points. So a lot going on there for these poor chaps, but there you go, the penal company. Okay, so a bit opposite from the penal company, the storm group. Now basically the only thing infantry-wise in this book that is careful, they're also fearless and they're trained, which is nice. And a 2+ assault, look at that, but it does cost you, and they have a 3+ infantry save. So mostly they are SMG teams, but you also have your heavy machine guns, your petards, 50mm mortar, and your flamethrowers. So you can either have 7 SMGs, 2 heavy machine guns, a petard, and a mortar, or the other option is you drop down to 5 SMG teams. You can add an extra petard team, PTRD team, and you can add up to 2 flamethrower teams. So not bad at all for the storm group. So I thought I'd include them, although I've never used them. So basically, Enemy at the Gates and Iron Cross both included sniper platoons. So they're aggressive, fearless, with a 5+ counterattack, trained, and a 3+ tactics, and a 3+ infantry save, and just the 1 shot, and they have unseen killer. So they're independent teams, so they're not really doing anything in terms of victory points and winning the game. You can have a unit of 4, a unit of 2, or a unit of 1. So sniper hide. So sniper teams are always gone to ground. Sniper teams can be held in ambush in addition to any other teams permitted by the mission. Snipers may ambush when it arrives from reserves. When it places from ambush, sniper teams may be placed in no man's land or in their own deployment area. An unseen killer. No mistaken target unit. So can't use mistaken target. Unit is pinned down if infantry gun or a number tank team is hit by a sniper. So you only have that 1 shot, mind. Well, I suppose if you have 2 teams, you have 2, 4 teams, you have 4 shots. But yeah, I don't tend to use them. Okay, so we have flame tanks, flamethrower tanks. So you can have 2 choices. You can have a nice heavily armored slow one, or you can have a medium armored one that's slightly faster. But bear in mind the KV-8 does have 5 shots with this flamethrower, and the T-34 only has 3. But flamethrowers don't tend to be great for motivation or assaults, but they are there, and they're not too bad points wise. But remember as well, the T-34 still has its gun as well, which is also quite handy, and so does the KV-8. Okay, so we have some tank killer companies here. So we have light and heavy. So bear in mind these stats are going to be different for the ones you get in the formation. These are the support ones. So both of them are careful, both are fearless, both are veteran with a 4+ assault, and both have a 3+ gun save, which is nice. So the light one, you can either have a short or long 45mm gun. The long one having better range and +1 more AT, but both have 4+ firepower and forward firing. The heavy gun, so again you can have a 57 or a 76. The 57 being better in terms of range and anti-tank, but it has a worse firepower and has no HE. And the 76 is 89 with a 3+ firepower. So it's up to you what you want with that. Okay, so we have some artillery guns here. So both aggressive with a 4+ save, confident, and green. And there's a reason I don't take a lot of artillery with the mid-war Soviets, because that green, it's just not gonna, you're just not gonna get anything with that. So the 76mm is the lighter of the two. So it has 80-inch range, the same as the 122 in terms of artillery. So the 76 is anti-tank 2, the other one is 83, and 4+ firepower and 3+ firepower. Direct fire, the 76 has a better range, has more shots when it's halted, and same anti-tank, but the firepower is +1 more, and the other one is 2+, but is also brutal, but slow firing. And also pay attention, guys, that none of the artillery units in the mid-war Soviets fire smoke barrages. So, yes. So the Katyusha is a salvo weapon, so that fires the big old template. It is a 3+ save, fearless, but it is good because it is trained, so it might actually be able to range in. But it is a 5+ unarmored tank save, so yeah, it can get picked off quite easily. It's got a decent range for the rockets though. It is only anti-tank 2, so not going to do much against armor, and a 4+ firepower. Okay, so the Soviets do have aircraft, so they have the L-2 Sturmovik, so it's a flying tank, so it's hit on a 4+. It is fearless, but it is green, so ranging in the bombs and rockets, which are actually really good, is going to be difficult, but it has a 2+ save because it's just a flying tank basically. It has 23mm guns, which only have 2 shots each, so bear in mind if you still have 2 of them, it'll be 4 shots. Anti-tank 6, so not too bad, but only a 5+ firepower. Now if it was trained, these bombs and rockets would be much better because they're anti-tank 5, so tigers beware. 4+ firepower, and it's a bomb, which means you don't have to re-roll your hits because there's only 2 teams firing. Now that is it for Enemy of the Gates. We do move on to Red Banner next, where we'll have obviously look at all the formations and command cards, formations, and any new support units that have become available to the Soviets. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If I haven't covered anything that you've noticed in this video, please comment and I'll reply with an answer. And if it was a unit card or command card I missed out, I'll reply with the stats on it as well. So I hope you enjoyed the mid-war Soviets. Definitely recklessness is a keyword for them, but quite fun. And I'm due to play them with my British for the first time, which I'm not looking forward to.